Wait, so Mochi Health was picking up workers from the Home Depot and Lowe's parking lots to help fill compounding prescriptions at the Aequita pharmacy? Yeah, strap in. These are allegations from a whistleblower that are just now seeing the light of day. Back when the pharmacy Aequita, that was Mochi's main pharmacy, got shut down in March of 2025, I sent in a public records request to the state of Washington, and I'm just now starting to get the tea. Now, Dr. Mira, who you might know, has her MD. She has a doctorate, but she's not a licensed physician. She's not a licensed pharmacist. Her currently head of business development, but was the head of the pharmacy operations for Mochi, James Lindsay in Kirkland. There's their Mochi's warehouse in the same parking lot as Aequita Pharmacy. Aequita Pharmacy, who allegedly is owned by the family. Also, it turns out that pretty much Dr. Mira and James and this other guy who was the head chief of staff for Mochi were basically running the pharmacy, allegedly under the nose of the pharmacist in charge, who they were describing him as basically just a front for their actual operation. They had to have somebody there who was a licensed pharmacist, but in reality they were running the whole show. These are allegations, again, from a whistleblower which may have some merit, which I'm still getting materials from the Department of Health, but they did shut down Aequita, if you see the letter here, for having unlicensed people working at the pharmacy. And the allegation, which we now have, is here. Dr. Mira and James Lindsay James would actually go pick up workers, allegedly, from the Home Depot and Lowe's to come and make compounded GLP-1s. And this person, the complainant, said Dr. Mira specifically asked her to do it on multiple occasions, and she refused. And because she complained about what they were doing at the pharmacy, she was retaliated against. After this complaint was filed, they shut that pharmacy down for, again, unlicensed people. So it sounds like they maybe verified that this is indeed what was happening. That's pretty incredible if that really did happen. That's just one thing, though. There's more. This whistleblower also has very specific detail about compounded active ingredients, so the APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients, coming from China, then relabeled and tried to pass it off as being made in the USA. That's another one of the allegations, and the details here, names. Here you can see it. They name the places where they got it from in reality versus where they tried to pass it off as getting it from. So that's a huge issue. The suspension of Aequita doesn't mention anything about approved APIs, so stay tuned on that one as I get more and more material, but the details are pretty specific. Now, in the summer of 2024, so not that long ago even, the pharmacists who worked at Aequita were so upset about what Dr. Mira and James Lindsay and the crew at Mochi were doing that they staged a walkout. And during the walkout, when there was no pharmacists or technicians, the Mochi people still forced people to make compounding. So unsupervised, unlicensed people were making compounded meds and then sending it out to patients because the pharmacists were in a walkout. So they just made it anyway. That's a pretty crazy allegation. It also tells you something about the operation. And then on patient safety, there's apparently a sterilization technique. And this is where I'm going to need people who are in the industry, because I don't really know what this means. But apparently it's a major safety issue. And the suspension letter for Aequita did mention this. So it says that they would test. There was sterilization techniques tested on some of the compounded material, and then they used that same material and sent it to patients, regardless and disregarding patient safety. And that's what this says. I don't know exactly what that means. If somebody can explain that to me, that would be helpful. So all this being said, somebody the other day asked if we should apologize to Mochi because they happen to be winning on their lawsuit against Eli Lilly, and no, they were doing bad things, allegedly bad things, if this stuff is true. And it was true enough for the state of Washington to tell them they either shut down or they're going to be forced to shutdown. Tell me this, is anybody getting meds from Aequita right now? Very curious about that.